As we're coming to the end of the year, it's appropriate that we do a wrap-up of state politics for 2008. What we've seen during this year is a government that has been in decay throughout the entirety of the year, and that's really created perhaps the most momentous year in state politics over the last 25 years. Early in 2008, we saw that the major issue was developer donations and the potential impact that those developer donations were having on decisions being made by the state Labor government. That came to a head with the ICAC inquiry into corruption on Wollongong Council. What we saw there were various developers influencing Labor politicians on a day-to-day basis. And what we also saw was a complete lack of control by the state Labor government over what was happening on Wollongong Council. In the middle of the year, what we saw was a movement of the debate away from planning decisions and developer donations and more towards the question of electricity privatisation. That debate came to a head at the end of August when the legislation supporting the privatisation came before a special sitting of the Parliament. The sitting was a farce with the government withdrawing the legislation when it became apparent that the coalition would not support the privatisation of the electricity assets. And of course that decision made by the coalition came as a result of the very significant feedback that came from our electorates, and particularly the country electorates, that there was strong opposition at the grassroots to the privatisation of those assets. What we saw with the withdrawal of the legislation was the collapse of the Yemma Labor government with Maurice Yemma resigning and being replaced by Nathan Rees. We also saw the departure from the front bench of ministers such as Reba Ma and Frank Sartor. But apart from those two, with the elevation of Nathan Rees, we really saw the same old team, people such as Joe Tripodi, people such as Ian McDonald, people such as Eric Roosendahl, actually getting elevations in their positions in the ministry in circumstances where their performance as ministers in their earlier portfolios had been shambolic. But of course, the year proceeded with yet further scandals. What we saw within a few days of the elevation of Nathan Rees was the resignation of Matt Brown as Minister for Police as a result of a scandal involving drunken behaviour at a party. We also saw the Iguanagate affair involving the now Health Minister, John Della Bosca, and of course we've rounded out the year with the sacking of the Minister for Small Business, Tony Stewart. What we've seen throughout has been a government unable to control its ministers, unable to imaginatively, constructively and energetically control this state. The end of the year also saw the handing down of the state's mini-budget, a mini-budget that has been brought about as a result of the failure of this state Labor government to control its recurrent expenditure over many years. We saw with that mini-budget the end of a number of programs, including free school travel, the withdrawal of the back to school allowance, and of course a number of infrastructure projects cancelled. All of that again indicates that this is a government that is out of control, has been unable to deliver on services and on infrastructure to the people of New South Wales. It's a bad way to end the year, and unfortunately with the global financial crisis that's now impacting upon this state, the year ahead will be a very difficult one indeed. I certainly hope that what we see after Christmas is a government that regains some control over its own agenda and is able to deliver services and infrastructure for the people of New South Wales.